If you're anything like me, your weekly trip to the grocery store sometimes feels less like shopping and more like trying to decode some ancient text.
Right.
I mean, everywhere you look, especially in those middle aisles, the packaging is just screaming at you. All natural, organic, low fat.
High fiber.
Exactly. They're all designed to make you feel like you're, making the absolute best choice.
And that is precisely the problem, isn't it? The sources we looked at for this deep dive, they all show that those labels they're often just a facade.
A facade.
Yeah, they're masking foods that are fundamentally highly processed. So the short answer to can you trust these claims is, well, very often no. Manufacturers have become, frankly, masters of disguise.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to give you the blueprint, really, the checklist for navigating this whole deceptive landscape. We're going to decode the truth that's hiding behind the packaging and arm you with the knowledge you need to cut through all that marketing spin.
It's really about shifting your focus from the flashy thing on the front to the, let's call it the technical truth, hidden on the back.
So let's unpack this. We should probably start with the most critical piece of evidence, right? The ingredients list.
Absolutely. That is your first line of defense.
It's non-negotiable. If you skip reading the ingredients, you're basically just shopping blind.
And the first rule of reading that list is understanding how it's organized. It's simple, but it's everything. Ingredients are listed in descending order by weight.
Okay.
That's a regulatory standard. So if something is 90% of the product, it has to be listed first. If it's 1%, it's way down at the bottom.
And that one simple rule is the key to seeing through the deception.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, the number one thing they want to hide from us.
Sugar.
Yes.
Let's talk about hidden sugars, because this is where the sneakiness really hits another level.
It's a classic shell game. I mean, manufacturers know that if they list sugar as the first or even second ingredient, you're probably going to put it back on the shelf.
Right. So they break it up. Instead of having, say, 30 grams of pure sugar listed first, they'll use 3 different types of sugar, each making up 10 grams.
So they can push all 3 of those terms further down the list. It fragments the total weight.
Exactly. It makes the sugar content look much smaller than it actually is.
So what are the names we need to be looking for? It's not just sugar anymore, is it?
No, not at all. You have to be looking for high fructose corn syrup, of course. That's a big one. But also things like dextrose, sucrose, maltose, rice syrup.
Even the healthier sounding ones?
Oh, yeah. Evaporated cane juice, agave nectar. Sure, they're chemically a little different, but your body processes them metabolically in very similar high-impact ways.
So the trick is to count the total number of sweeteners, not just where the word sugar is on the list.
That's the critical move. You've got it.
So if I'm looking at a breakfast cereal, and the first ingredient is whole oats, which sounds great, but then the next 3 are rice syrup, dextrose, and molasses. I know that, wait a minute, 3 of the top 5 ingredients are just different forms of sugar.
Exactly. You've just seen right through the marketing to the product's true composition. Now, we can extend that same level of scrutiny to artificial additives.
The unpronounceable stuff?
So stuff like synthetic colors, flavor enhancers, preservatives.
This is where that simple pronunciation test comes in handy, right? It's that gut level rule.
It is.
If you look at the list and you see a word that looks like it belongs in a chemistry lab, and you have no idea what it is, maybe just reconsider buying it on a regular basis.
Well, the sources are quite clear that many of these additives, particularly certain artificial colors or flavorings, can have detrimental effects on health. So we are encouraged to opt for products with minimal additives.
But wait a second, let's push on that a little. This is a deep dive after all. We can't just write off everything we can't pronounce, can we?
That's a great question, and you're right, it shows why context is so important. Some unpronounceable ingredients are actually harmless or even beneficial.
Like what?
Well, take xanthan gum or gar gum. Those are complex names, sure, but they're just used in small amounts as thickeners or emulsifiers. They come from, fermentation or beans. They're not some scary chemical.
So the key isn't just the name, but what it does and how much is in there. If I see something like BHT or potassium bromate, that's a red flag.
A huge red flag. Those are chemical preservatives used for shelf stability, but xanthan gum is just a common texture agent. So yes, the function matters. You want to prioritize avoiding those heavy-duty chemical preservatives.
Okay, so we've established the ingredients list is our truth teller. Now let's jump to the part of the package that is designed almost entirely to mislead us, the flashy front-of-package claims.
Right. This is where the most aggressive marketing lives.
It seems like they're doing the research for you.
They do. They highlight one supposed benefit to distract you from a much greater nutritional sin hiding inside.
Let's deconstruct the absolute classic, low-fat or fat-free. For decades, this was the holy grail of dieting.
It was, and our sources give us a very strong warning that this is often a nutritional trap. It's the original sin of the processed food industry.
How so?
When you strip fat out of a product, let's say a salad dressing or a yogurt, you strip out the flavor, the richness, the texture.
It tastes like cardboard.
Right. So to make it palatable again, manufacturers have to replace those things. And the cheapest, most efficient way to do that is with sugar, sodium, or artificial thickeners.
So you think you're being healthy by cutting fat, but you've just massively increased your sugar intake, which completely offsets any benefit.
It's a critical switch to understand. The focus should always be on the overall quality of the ingredients. A higher fat product with recognizable whole foods is almost always a healthier choice than a low-fat version loaded with sweeteners.
Okay, here's where it gets really nuanced, and this really highlights the confusion in the regulatory landscape. The natural versus organic claim.
Ah, yes. This is maybe the biggest aha moment for most people. The two terms are night and day.
Okay.
Organic, specifically USDA certified organic, has very stringent rules. It means no synthetic fertilizers, no irradiation, verifiable farming methods. An organic cookie is still a cookie, but you know the raw ingredients met a high standard.
But natural, that's the Wild West.
It's basically the Wild West. The term natural is essentially unregulated.
Really?
Beyond a very basic requirement that the product doesn't contain artificial ingredients or added color. That's it. A product can be loaded with cane sugar and highly processed corn and still be labeled all natural.
So it's a marketing fantasy.
It's a marketing term designed to make you think of health and simplicity, but legally, it carries almost no weight. You have to be deeply skeptical when you see it.
So if a company is just leaning on the natural claim, that's a big sign they might be hiding something.
That's a great way to put it. Natural doesn't give you a free pass. You still have to read the ingredients list.
Okay, let's also cover the restriction claims. Gluten-free, dairy-free. These are absolutely vital for some people.
Indispensable for people with celiac disease or allergies, yes. But they've been co-opted as general health halos for everybody.
Right, the idea that taking out gluten makes it healthy.
But it doesn't, not automatically. In fact, to get the right texture without wheat flour, manufacturers often have to use highly refined starches like tapioca, potato, or rice flour. These can spike your blood sugar even faster.
So a gluten-free cookie could actually be nutritionally worse than its whole wheat counterpart.
It very well could be. You have to check the back. Is that gluten-free item now packed with gums and extra sugar just to hold it all together? That's the real question.
And finally, what about made with whole grains? I see this everywhere.
A textbook example of subtle deception.
Okay.
A product can say made with whole grains, but when you flip it over, the very first ingredient might be enriched wheat flour.
Which is refined.
It's refined flour. It means the whole grains might only be a tiny token amount just so they can legally make the claim on the front.
So the solution is back to rule number 1. For it to be a true whole grain product, whole wheat flour or whole oats has to be the very first thing on the list.
It has to be first. If it just says wheat flour or enriched flour, you're eating a refined grain product. It's that simple.
Okay, so we've covered ingredients, we've deconstructed the claims. What does this all mean for our actual shopping strategy? The key to avoiding these fake healthy foods, it seems, comes down to education and just mindfulness.
We can really boil it down to 4 practical steps. The first one is obvious, but it's worth saying again. Prioritize whole, unprocessed foods.
Stick to the perimeter of the store.
Exactly. When you're buying fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, intact whole grains, they don't have deceptive labels because they don't need them. They are naturally nutrient dense.
Now, when you do venture into the middle aisles, tip 2 becomes essential. Read the labels thoroughly. Make it a habit.
It takes an extra minute, yes, but it's an investment in your health. You have to look beyond the big, bold claims and examine the fine print. That's where the truth is.
And tip 3, choose quality over the quantity of claims. A product can scream high fiber, added vitamins, organic, 0 cholesterol.
But if that ingredient list is a chemical cocktail of additives, emulsifiers, and 4 kinds of sugar, it's a product built for profit, not health. It should stay on the shelf.
Which brings us to the last and maybe most important tool, skepticism.
Yes, a healthy dose of skepticism. You have to remember, a manufacturer's primary goal is to sell you a product. Their marketing teams are brilliant at convincing you to buy based on an idea, an aspiration, not the reality of the ingredients.
That's the lens, isn't it? Selling a product, not necessarily promoting health. Once you see it that way, you can see right through the deception.
Learning how to read product labels is, I would argue, one of the most essential skills a consumer can have in today's food landscape. By becoming proactive, you genuinely take control.
You prioritize transparency, you prioritize quality ingredients, and you prioritize mindful consumption every single time you walk into that store.
But, manufacturers are always innovating. They're finding new ways to get around consumer education, so.
Here's the final thought.
Yeah.
Since we know they prioritize sales, and we are now wise to terms like low fat and the loophole of all natural, what new, subtle, maybe scientifically untested marketing phrases the next generation of health halos will they invent next to try and bypass our educated skepticism? That is the question you always have to be ready for.